beckon on you. We are so grateful. Okay, we are live now. We are live on YouTube, and then Meshach, can we have some words from you before we kickstart fully?
Yeah, it's good to have everyone. Okay, though I may not be able to see all your faces, but I know your faces are looking beautiful and handsome. Okay, and I know that you are doing well.
Thank you.
Yeah, so it's another edition, and we hope to learn a lot. Okay, our focus today is on understanding the application of digital tools in forestry, all right, and the benefits that is available for us via it. So we're going to be hearing that, seeing how we can bridge the gap that is available in the forestry education when it comes to the aspect of digital application, because a lot has changed now, and for every profession that you are now, you need to be able to know the right tools that are being used at global level, and that is why we're having this session today and having Professor Akindele do that for us as our guest. So it's good to see you guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Meshach, for that intro. I think before Prof joins us, because he's joining from Canada, and I think it's quite early over there now. But then before we kickstart fully, I would like us to have probably like a chat or something like a discussion before we kickstart fully. Okay, Prof is currently joining now. So we want to welcome everybody once again. Thank you so much for joining us. Each time we beckon on you. Thank you for believing in this vision. Thank you for believing in this project. Because our goal is to reach to a large number of people in Nigeria and by extension in Africa and also to other parts of the world. Like I said, this is a big project and we want to appreciate you for always believing in this vision. We want to thank you for believing in this big project as we hope to reach so many people in the field of forestry and in the field of environment by extension. Okay, great. Jonas?
Yes.
Yeah, please can we have a quick intro from you or something like a welcome message from you on behalf of IFSA to welcome everybody to this event?
Sure, yeah. Definitely also very warm welcome from my side for this today's session. It sounds very interesting to hear about future, or actually they are already applied today, but future technologies for forestry. And it's always nice for me to see, and I'm very happy to see that this kind of session, the Nigerian Forestry Students Roundtable, is so successful, and it contributes so much to build up this local network in Nigeria. And that's basically the main goal of IFSA. So it's always nice to be here and see what you are doing and exchange your knowledge about.
Okay, thank you so much, Jonas. Alex, please can we have a short intro from you too before we kickstart fully? A short intro from you.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everybody. I welcome Prof to our midst. I welcome everyone joining us from different parts of Nigeria and even Africa. I have seen somebody from Benin Republic here, Gnofin. So I want to say thank you. It's nice to hear about digital tools in forestry because the world is advancing and we are in the IT age. So there's a lot of development out there that needs to be learned, that need to be explored, and this does not remove Nigerians from exploring these opportunities. So I want to welcome all of us to this session, and I hope that we all learn one or two things from Prof. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.
Trying to join?
Yes, I can see that too. And before we kickstart fully, and before I bring up Meshach one more time, I would like to crave our indulgence to please kindly mute ourselves as we proceed in the course of this event so that we can have a very smooth running of the event too. Meshach, very quickly, can we quickly have, before we get to have Prof fully, I think he's trying to connect his audio now. Before we have him fully, can we have something like a word of acknowledgement from you before we kickstart while we wait for Prof?
All right. Okay. Once again, I'm seeing doctors on this platform, and I'm seeing Dr. SB Shamaki. I must confess, we recognize your presence, sir. You are highly honored. Yes, sir. You're highly honored. Highly honored. Okay. And every other person, undergraduates and graduates. Okay, we acknowledge the presence of everyone, and we believe it's going to be a great session as we learn. I'm more interested in this session because I'm in the area of digital to the application of digital tool in environment at large. My MSc is in environmental management, so it's my core interest. Okay, so that I'm more interested in this session. So I believe it's going to be great. So I believe. Let's go ahead.
Okay, Meshach, can you bring up Prof now?
Okay. All right. Wow. The way I'm smiling like this. It's good to see you, sir, Prof. It's great to see you, sir. Prof is on mute. Sir, you're on mute.
Okay.
Okay, Prof, if you can hear us.
Okay.
I think he's on now.
You should be able to hear him now.
Oh, no, we can't hear him. Prof, if you can hear us, maybe you can exit the meeting and join again. If you can hear us.
Okay, Meshach, please go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, Professor Shedrack Akindele is.
I think you have to wait for him to be back before you read the citation.
All right.
Okay, he's joining now.
Your mic is muted, Prof.
Okay. Okay, let me make him a course. Okay, Jonas.
I think you should be able to hear him now. His video is on and his audio.
But his mic is not.
We are still unable to hear him.
Okay. Can somebody call him on WhatsApp?
Okay.
Yes. This is an option. He can send us his PowerPoint, then join from his phone. We can display his PowerPoint for him, if that works.
Okay. Okay, while we sort the.
Okay. We can hear you, sir.
I can't hear you. Okay.
Let's be patient. Mezak is trying to sort it out with him, I guess.
I've sent a message to you, Prof, via WhatsApp.
Apologies to everybody. The computer does sometimes misbehave like this. Sometimes, sorry.
You are well done. Great forester.
Thank you very much. Sorry that Prof is. And yesterday too, I had a presentation, and at the time of the presentation, the PowerPoint refused to open. So I had no option than to just pick from my head.
Okay. Meshach. No, we can't hear you, Prof. We apologize to everybody while we try to solve the each. Okay, hi Meshach. Okay, I think Meshach is trying to.
I'm calling you on phone.
Okay.
Okay, Prof is calling. Hello, sir.
Meshach, what's happening? You can't hear.
Okay,
I'll try and reconnect.
Yes, sir.
Olaoluwa.
Olaoluwa, Dr. Johnson is talking to you. Olaoluwa.
Okay, Meshach, what Prof can
Yes,
do?
sir.
Prof can connect from maybe his Android phone.
Yeah.
Like that is what I'm using right away. I'm using an Android phone. And then he can send his PowerPoint to either you or Olaoluwa.
Okay.
So that from there, you can share the PowerPoint and they can speak from the phone.
Okay.
And just another way out.
Okay.
It seems maybe it can either be a network issue or maybe the connection from the system.
Yeah, that's true. He's trying to reconnect back.
Okay, we apologize for this is the first time we are experiencing this kind of thing, and
Yeah. While we wait for the connection, okay, I think it's an opportunity to get to know each other. We see a lot of doctors on these platforms, and we'd like to hear from them shortly. They introduce themselves and their area of specialization so that we know them. So I think I've seen Dr. SB Shamaki. We'd like to hear from you shortly. Your area of specialization, sir.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, glad to be here this afternoon with great minds. I can see a lot of foresters, the young foresters, and I'm happy to be part of this generation that trying actually to link the digital world in forest resource management and, of course, to look at the things we can do to join the global trend in digital economy and application of these tools in forestry profession at large. My name is Dr. Sanusi Bello Shamaki. I am an associate professor of forest inventory and biometrics, the current head of department of forestry and environment in Osman Danfodio University, Sokoto.
Wow, fantastic.
And also, is a good student of so glad to be here with you. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, Dr. Johnson. Dr. Johnson. Dr. Johnson, can we hear from you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and
sir.
gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. I'm Johnson Olusola. Currently, I'm working with Federal College of Agriculture, Akure, in Ondo States, and I'm very glad to be part of this afternoon event. And then I can see some of my students on the platform. I'm very glad to be part of this event. And I want to also learn, as I'm still learning. And then I hope Prof is going to shut out the issue of the network and like the event, the application of the digital tools in forestry and then environment at large. Good afternoon, everyone, once again.
Yeah.
Happy to meet with you and to hear from you. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, sir. Yeah. I think I met Dr. Johnson first time. That was in my 100 level in FUTA when I wrote an exam and I forgot to put my name and matric number on the answer sheet. Okay. So I knew when they were looking for me. While they were looking for me, who owns who owns the answer sheet? So one way, Sha, they were able to get me, and I finally wrote my name after several words. But here we are. So it's good to have you on the platform again, sir, Dr. Johnson. Okay, do you have any other PhD order in our midst?
Okay, I think Prof is online. Before we move forward, okay, I think he's still trying to connect his audio.
We have Dr. Sadiku online. And Nusra Sadiku.
Sadiku Nusrat is online.
Yes.
I could see her.
Mommy, if she's on the road, but let's see if she can speak.
Cross was okay.
Everybody, I may not be able to participate. Just continue with you.
Okay, thank you.
Alex, I'm with Alex.
Yes, I can hear you, ma. Thank you, ma. Okay, I will introduce Dr. Sadiku for us.
It's a pleasure.
Dr. Sadiku is she's into wood science. She finished from the Federal University of Technology, Akure, and she currently works at the University of Ilorin at the Forestry Department.
Oh, that's good. That's good, sir. You're welcome, ma.
Okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello, sir.
Okay. You asked a question if there's another person with a PhD, and I think I have one. So,
wow, fantastic. Fantastic.
So, can I introduce myself?
Yes, absolutely, sir.
Okay. My name is Ibrahim Dagina Abdullahi. I'm a silviculturist, but I have a PhD in agroforestry. And I work with the University of Abuja. But
hello, sir. Hello, Prof. Yes, sir.
Okay, you can continue.
Please go ahead.
Okay. So it's a pleasure knowing some of you. I know the organizers of this program. I've been sending emails to my account, so
Yeah.
very glad to be part of you. And I hope we will be using some of these platforms in meeting some of you, especially those that graduate from FUTA. I'm not very familiar with you, but if you had been from UI, I might have one way or the other met some of you. So it's a pleasure knowing you. Dr. Shamaki used to be my senior mate back in Usman Danfodio University. That was where I did my first degree, and my secondary was in University of Ibadan. But I did my last degree, that's a PhD in Bangor University in the UK. So it's a pleasure knowing all of you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for joining us. Meshach, what? Okay. I think Prof is joining with another device now.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay,
We can hear you, sir.
Okay, that's from my phone. So what I'll do is to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
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 Okay. Sorry about this. This is the first time I'm experiencing this. Okay. So I have my screen shared. So I'm using my phone as the audio, and then the presentation is on the laptop.
That's good, sir. That's good, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. All right.
I just want to be sure you are hearing me clearly.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Okay, sir. So before Prof continues, okay, Professor Sakinele is our father, and the part that some of us took now in the area of digital tools, okay, he is, I don't want to say he was, he is our inspiration. We caught that from him, GIS, statistics, every other areas, okay. Prof is a professor of forest biometrics, and he has a lot of experience that, well, he's going to tell us a story by himself. Okay, I won't share that, but I'm certain that you're going to be learning a lot today from Prof, because we're a testimony, we're a product of Prof, and here we are today. Here we are today. Everywhere we go, okay, we do well. Personally, in my statistics course at master's level, the applied special statistics I did last semester, I had like the highest score, and I performed excellently, and I give that to Prof. So let's have you, sir. It's good to have you, sir.
Thank you very much, Meshach. And looking through the list of participants here, I'm excited to have a lot of you. Dr. Shamaki, you are most welcome. I had your short speech, as well as that of Dr. Johnson Olushola. I am glad to be here with you all. I can see Alex, I can see Dare, and quite a lot of people here online, including just a few people that I don't know, but I have interacted with quite a number of you. I can see Jafet, I can see Ezekiel Adedeji and co, quite a number of people, as well as Adigun Azan and so on. So it's a pleasure to be here. And I've been invited to talk on understanding the application of digital tools in forestry profession. Well, as the host said, just to talk a little about my background, I'm into forest biometrics and inventory. My journey to forestry was accidental, like that of many of you on the platform, in the sense that it wasn't my jam choice, but I found myself in forestry because I did not meet up with the required cutoff for the course I wanted to do. And so I accepted forestry with the aim of changing my course when I get to the second year of the program. I was a direct entry student. But after my first year in forestry, which was 200 level, I fell in love with the course, and I performed better in the courses I took in forestry than the ones I took from outside the department. So I just decided, well, I could well just stay here and make a career from this. So that was my journey into forestry. And by the time I got to the final year, I already made up my mind that I was going to do biometrics because of course, the exposure I've had to biometrics courses along the line. And so I went to, at our final year, then you choose your supervisor yourself, just walk up to a lecturer that you want to supervise you and you say, well, sir, I want to do my project with you. So I went to our biometrics teacher and I said, sir, I want to do my project with you. And he said, what? Are you sure? Because I was the only student attempting to do that. So I told him, yes, I'm really sure I'm serious about it. So he said, okay, go and bring me 3 topics. And I did. And that was how we started. And by the time I went back for my master's, of course, I was sure that biometrics was my option. And I was the only student of biometrics in our set. And people were wondering whether I had some mental issue because biometrics was a dreaded course. And they wonder why any sane individual will say he wants to go and do biometrics. Well, I said, no problem. That is what I want to do. And that's how I found myself in biometrics. And one of the things I made up my mind to do is to demystify what makes people to think that biometrics is unassailable. And that has been what I've been doing. In fact, my Oga in biometrics at a time accused me of attempting to make biometrics look too cheap. And I said, well, that's might because he had his background in mathematics and then his master's in statistics. So he just came to forestry to teach. So he didn't have forestry background that I have. So I said, well, this course is to be taught to students who don't want to have anything to do with mathematics. So I must make sure I simplify it as much as possible for them to be able to grasp it. And I'm happy that today now, I can count quite a number of people who are now into biometrics. And I'm very, very glad and happy about that. So that is just a brief. Of course, I've been teaching in FUTA for quite some time. I joined the services of the university in 1988. And that's when I've been teaching in that department. And I entered as an assistant lecturer with master's degree and then got my PhD 2 years later. And then from there continued till I became a professor in the department. So it's been a journey that I have found very, very fulfilling, very, very fulfilling. And one of the things that has helped me personally is the fact that I believe learning is a continuous process and that there is no stage one gets to that you should stop learning. And that is actually what has worked for me personally up till now. When I was in school, there were no computers. So I didn't have any computer training in school at all. Not even being introduced to what is called a mouse or what is a keyboard, or there was none like that in our time. And so if I had stayed with what I was taught while I was a student, I would have been totally obsolete and irrelevant now. But because I decided that professional development is a personal responsibility that I must take. And I cannot blame the system. I cannot blame my background. I must make sure I avail myself of the opportunity to learn. And that's what I've been doing over the years. So even now, as I speak with you, I'm still a student. I have some online courses I registered for, which I am doing personally as part of my personal development. And one other thing that I've done that has helped me is when I acquire new skills or new knowledge, I share that with my students. Because in the process of trying to teach them, they ask questions and so on. And that makes me to do more study and to learn more. That's something that has helped me personally. I've had some of my former students say, but sir, when we were doing this course, you didn't teach us this one, you didn't teach us that. I said, well, that's what it should be. I shouldn't be teaching. I mean, by the time I'm teaching what I taught 5 years ago again this year, then I'm becoming irrelevant. I must improve on what I taught and what I've taught before. So that has been my approach to learning and to serving in forestry profession. And it has paid off. Why do I say it has paid off? It has paid off because it has helped me to get a lot of consultancy jobs. A lot. With World Bank, with African Development Bank, with so many agencies that I've had to work with. And it's been a very, very fulfilling experience for me personally. So that's just in a nutshell what I want to say about myself. And I want to just go straight on to this presentation. I hope you are still hearing me, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
We are hearing,
Yes, sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, we can hear you, sir.
Thank you. So I move on, understanding the application of digital tools in forestry profession. I want to start with talking about the outline that I'll follow in this presentation. I will talk on the state of our forests in Nigeria, and we want to look at what are digital tools. What do we mean when we say digital tools? And then what are the areas of application of digital tools in forestry? Drones as digital tools, uses of drones in forestry, and then food for thought to young foresters. Since many of the people online are young foresters, I want to share some thoughts with you. And in addition to that, I also want to at least challenge you on what you can do as young foresters. So these are the areas I'll be talking on very quickly. Actually, we will enjoy ourselves more during the discussion session, which should follow the presentation. So I will try and make the presentation to be quite snappy. So I move on to the first, state of our forest. Now, in Nigeria, our forest areas are very large. They are very large, even though they occupy a very small proportion of the total land area of the country. As at year 2018, 2019, when I did a consultancy work for FAO as the national consultant for the National Forest Inventory that we did, the total forest area in Nigeria, that's total area of land in Nigeria under forest cover, whether within forest reserves or free areas, was just 8%. of the total land mass of Nigeria. It's so small, so small. But the truth is that even though it's so small, individual forest area is very large. Large in the sense that it's largely inaccessible. There is shortage of staff to police the forests. That's another thing we know. We have shortage of staff. We don't have enough to police our forests. And then the rugged terrain and water bodies often make parts of the forest unreachable. And that's very true for those of us who are used to forest field work. You will realize that the terrain is usually very rugged in certain areas. Water bodies also often make the forests unreachable. Many parts of our forests have become ungoverned spaces, which is very true. And as a result of being ungoverned, they are now harboring bandits. And that's a very serious problem throughout Nigeria, not only in the north, even in the south. Now, surveillance of forest lands have become more dangerous. Even as forest guards, as forest officers going into the forest to work, there are just certain areas you cannot say you are going to work. I remember during the National Forest Inventory that we did for FAO in 2018, 2019, specifically in 2018, we were doing the field work across the country. And there are certain states, I remember very vividly when we were to go to Katsina to do the inventory of their forest reserves, you know, from the GIS planning, forest plan, inventory planning that I did, I prepared the GIS plan. I did the GIS plan for the inventory. There were certain locations I picked just with the sampling technique I used. And then I put a call through to the director of forestry in the state. I said, Director, now we are coming to your state on so dates to do inventory. Here is a list of forest reserves that we want to get to as a result, based on our planning. And the director said, okay, I will get back to you shortly. So he made some calls, you know, to his zonal forest officers and so on in charge of all those reserves. And he got back to me, he said, sir, he mentioned certain forest reserves. He said, sir, you cannot do any work there. I said, why? He said, those places are not safe, sir. So I said, okay, fine. Just give me a list of those ones that are safe. So I had to readjust the inventory planning that I have done to now make sure we work only in forest reserves that are safe. So surveillance of forest land have become very, very dangerous. Even in Ondo State, for example, we have had situations where forest guards have been killed, not just wounded, killed by illegal fellas, by bandits, right inside forest reserves. And forest reserves are gazetted areas that should not harbor miscreants. But that's not the situation now in Nigeria. Virtually all forestry departments in the various states of the country in Nigeria have abandoned sustainable forest management practices. And this is very, very sad. Before, Cross River State used to be the only state that was still doing something related to sustainable forest management. But as I speak now, even Cross River State is not doing that, despite the fact that they still have Forestry Commission. Ogun State created a whole ministry for forestry, and yet they are not doing sustainable forest management practices. Ekiti State now has a Forestry Commission, yet they are not practicing sustainable forest management practices. In fact, there is no state in Nigeria as I speak that is practicing sustainable forest management practices. If any of them tell you they are doing so, just ask them this question. Ask them to show you the forest management plan of the forest they say they are managing sustainably. You won't get. tell them to give you the current map of that forest reserve or the forest reserves in their state. They don't have it. In fact, most states don't know the extent of the forest they have. They rely on what on what is available in colonial records. And that's so sad. Ask any state director, what is the annual allowable cut for your state? There is nothing called that in any state. So no state is doing sustainable forest management practices as at now, as we speak. So looking at all these as background, we want to see what are digital tools. What are digital tools? Digital tools, these are tools characterized by electronic and especially computerized technologies, which may or may not be portable, because some digital tools are portable. You can carry them from one place to the other. Some are not. They are more stationary. And examples include your desktop computers, your laptops, your tablets, your smartphones, your GPS, your digital camera, and other electronic devices that is commonly used in forestry. And that will include drones, powered by AI, or even robots, which are now used in forestry. Now, sometimes digital tools also refer to a program, an app, or other software available on a digital device. So that's just so when I talk of digital tools, I want you to understand the context in which I am talking. For learning, there are so many digital tools out there, as you can see on the screen. So many, that you can use to learn. And all these are available. So since there are so many, what happens is that people just pick few of them and they don't bother about the rest, because sincerely, you can't say you want to use everything. Whatever works for you is what you will use. And they all have different, purposes, different strengths and weaknesses. So depending on what you are trying to learn or communicate. But in forestry, especially forestry education, all these tools are available. They can be used depending on what exactly you are doing. But I must say that some of them are more popular than the other. For example, the Microsoft Office is popular, YouTube is popular, Zoom is popular, WhatsApp is popular. There are quite a number of them like that that are quite popular, depending on what you are actually doing. Move on to, yes, Map Builder. This is an example of digital tool used in forestry. It's actually an easy-to-use tool for creating customized monitoring applications. And this combines spatial data and analysis on Global Forest Watch with your own data. Now, this is a digital tool that is normally used, especially people that have a GIS background. Now, the Global Forest Watch has a database, which is global. And if you have your own forest area and you have your local spatial data, you can use this map builder to generate map of your place. And the advantage of that is that it relies on data from Global Forest Watch to enrich the data you have. Because, very many times you don't have sufficient data even of the area you are working on. And so Map Builder is something that is very useful in this. And it's being used by several countries and organizations to build platform for forest and land use monitoring. At this point, I just want to show you a small video of that. And that's what I I don't know if you are hearing.
Hi, everyone.
Okay.
I'm excited to present some information.
Are you hearing any sound, please?
Which allows users to
Yes, we can hear, sir. Yes, sir, we can hear, sir.
obtain both user data as well as important key data sets that you would find on Global Forest Watch. I'll be giving you a brief introduction to Map Builder before we dive into how you can build one for yourself. The Map Builder template allows users to visualize data that is on Global Forest Watch, such as alerts, fires, tree cover loss, land cover, and more, and combine it with their own contextual data sets. This could be anything from land use to community forests, to national land cover data sets, to biodiversity, and even urban and agricultural, whatever data you would like to visualize in your map. The result is a combined map that provides local context to the global data that you would find on Global Forest Watch. Map Builder can be built using an ArcGIS online account, which Kai will be demonstrating for you shortly. Once your map is built, you can share the link as a standalone site, or you can also embed it into your own website. Map Builder is supported in 10 languages: English, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Bahasa Indonesian, Mandarin Chinese, Georgian, Armenian, Azerbaijani, and Dutch. So now I'm going to briefly review some of the features that you would see on a Map Builder map after you create it. Firstly, you can see that there is a layer panel on the left-hand side, and this has some pre-installed global data sets that you would find on Global Forest Watch. The data can be turned on and off, and also some of the data can be filtered. For example, here you can see the land cover dynamics layer that are available on the map, and that includes data like the annual tree cover loss data sets, flood alerts, and fire alerts. When you click on a feature of the map, you can also get important information of that feature at a glance. So for example, here you can see that a forest concession is highlighted in blue. And on the left-hand panel, you can see that information is provided, such as the concession name, the division name, the forest sector, and the forest zone. So the information that you put in there can then be easily viewed upon by the users of your map after you create it. Users of your map can also conduct on-the-fly analyses similarly to Global Forest Watch. Here, I drew a shape on the map, and using the analysis tab on the left-hand panel, I can choose the analysis that I wish to perform for the area that I drew. So I can look at the total tree cover gain within a time series. I could look at the GLAD alerts per month, or I can look at the land cover composition of this area that I'm interested in understanding more closely. You can also conduct on-the-fly analyses by clicking on a feature of the map. So here you can see a feature has been selected. I clicked it and it's highlighted again in blue. And on the left, you can see tree cover loss by year for that feature. Users of your map can also view recent Sentinel satellite imagery on top of your map, and you can filter the images by date and cloud cover. Users of your map that you've created can also share their map view with others via a link or through social media, making it easier for others to share your map that you created and also the different insights that your map may provide. I'm going to present you with just a couple of examples so you can learn more about how others are using Map Builder. One example is Hutan Watch, which is a website that uses Map Builder to monitor forest changes and improve forest transparency in Malaysia. Leveraging Map Builder, Hutan Watch built a series of interactive maps in which users can explore and analyze relevant local data sets, providing more insight into where and what sorts of landscapes forest change is occurring. The WRI Governance Center uses Map Builder to show spatial data and conduct on-the-fly analysis for the landmark platform. the first global platform to provide maps and other critical information on lands that are collectively held and used by Indigenous peoples and local communities. The integration of GFW data layers and analytical tools to calculate tree cover loss, carbon stocks, and more provide valuable contextual information that helps to show the importance of Indigenous and community lands in conserving and managing natural resources.
Okay, so that's just the short presentation on that. I just want to show us a few of the digital tools that are available. The first one I'm showing there is the digital Caliper. And this is used for diameter measurements. As you can see, the values, there's the electronic components there. This electronic component where you read off the value. This is the place you put around the plant. Is usually, this particular one is usually used for very small, tiny plants. You want to get the diameter of it. You fix that to the area around it, and you will get your value here. We also have digital hanging scale. This is used when we are doing biomass inventory. We normally use this. And there is the digital plant canopy imager. This is a very useful plant, especially in forest ecology. Very useful instrument in plant ecology. It instantly estimates your leaf area index and as well as the PAR, photosynthetically active radiation levels. It gives you the reading instantly, right on the screen there. There are other digital tools that we have. And as you can see, the thermal imaging camera on the left there. You have the electronic dendrometer, the Criterion RD1000 there. And then you have on top right there, you have the laser rangefinder, ipsometer, and you have the electronic weighing balance below there. These are digital tools that are used in forest measurement majorly. Of course, the thermal imaging camera captures the thermal radiation in a particular area and it records it, and the data can be downloaded, back in the office. The criterion is what is used to measure diameter at any level as well as tree height. It's just like the relascope. Then you have the laser rangefinder, which is used to determine the distance between you and an object. It's also used for slope measurement as well as for height measurement. And then the weighing balance for weighing your samples. Now, what are the areas of application of digital tools in forestry? First is in forest measurements. I've shown you some tools which we use during field measurement. They are digital tools. Also in forest mapping, we use digital tools such as GPS. GPS is an example of a digital tool that we use in forest mapping. And with GPS, you can, move around the boundary of a particular forest, just capture the coordinates, and without even having any tape to measure anything, and take it back to the lab and prepare your map. I remember a consultancy work I was involved in, and we had a surveyor because we were to determine the boundary of a forest reserve in Kogi State and do the inventory. So a surveyor was brought in, and I remember at that time, a director of forestry at the Federal Department of Forestry was also on the team. And the surveyor came, he didn't come with ranging poles, he didn't come with measuring tapes, all those things that surveyor normally do. The guy just came with GPS And so the director asked him, so where are your tools for the survey? He just brought us his GPS. And the director said, you are not serious. That's, who gave you this job? Are you sure you are? And you know, a lot of things. So the director said, well, let's wait for Prof to come. So when I got there, the director told me this and that. I just smiled because I know that the surveyor, because I interacted with the surveyor and he told me what he wanted to do. I said, oh, you are fine. So I told the director, see, things are moving beyond what you knew traditionally. So this guy is serious about his work. He has done a lot of preliminary work about this area. He has the imagery, he has everything. Please allow him, he will do a good job. And he did a very good job without carrying ranging poles all over the place. So forest mapping is an area where we use digital tools. Civiculture, yes, we also use digital tools in civiculture. Apart from planning, presently now we have tree planter, digital tools that are used in tree planting, as you will see shortly. Also timber harvesting, forest management, forest products marketing, training and manpower development. These are different areas where digital tools are applied in forestry. Let me talk on drones as digital tools.
Hello, sir.
Hello? Am I still audible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So
Yes, sir.
drones as digital tools. In technological terms, a drone is an unmanned aircraft or unmanned area vehicle. It's now a very common tool in forestry. It's a common digital tool now in forestry, especially, yes, a few in Nigeria, but not so much, but much more outside the country. UAV or drones are now very, very common in forestry. It is a flying robot that can be remotely controlled. So you can have your remote control on hand and, and control it in terms of where it gets to, how it moves. Or sometimes it's allowed to fly by itself through some software controlled flight plans, which are in their embedded systems. And those things work in conjunction with onboard sensors and GPS. And that is why even when they move through the forest, they avoid obstacles. They don't clash with trees or whatever. No, they move through here and there and capture all the information they need to capture. Drones use their rotors, which consist of a propeller attached to a motor to hover. That's what they use to move around, while the sensors ensure that they do not collide with other objects. And an example of that is what you see here. This is an example of a drone. This object here, and you can see the image, the camera, the lens here to capture information. And all these are propellers that helps it to fly around and control it. Then, of course, it has inbuilt GPS also. And you have the control. Of course, you can use even your phone as this is the viewer screen or the pilot screen that you see as you regulate. And these are the knobs you use to determine the direction of flight of the drone. So this is just an example of a drone or unmanned area vehicle. You have drones now that plant trees, and that is the truth. There are drones now that plant trees. I have a short video of that, but time will not allow me to show that now. Then uses of drones in forestry. We use drones for area surveillance. We use it for mapping. We use it for area photography. We use it for thermal imagery. We use it for topographic mapping, and we use it for tree planting. I know something that a question that may occur in your mind is, well, if drones are that okay and we can use for area surveillance, why are our forests occupied by bandits and we cannot use drones to trace them? Oh, we can use drones to trace them. And that's the truth of the matter. And in fact, even without using drones, people in charge of the forest know where the bandits are. So it's not a matter of they hiding somewhere that we can't see. No, people know where they are, but there's no political will to root them out. That's the simple reason why it persists. So food for thought to you as young foresters, and this is my second to the last slide. Forest cover in Nigeria is just 8%, as I said earlier on, of the total area of the country, just 8%. This is far below the recommended 25% by the FAO. Every country is supposed to have at least minimum 25% of its area covered with forest. In Nigeria, we have just 8%. And that is very, very low. Deforestation due to agriculture and urbanization has continued to increase. We all know that. Most, in fact, in some states, some forest reserves have been de-reserved so as to allow for housing estates or farmland, large-scale agriculture and things like that. In different states, those things are happening. Most of the existing forest areas have been heavily degraded due to encroachment, illegal logging, and unregulated harvesting by the forest authorities in those states. Many of the popular timber species are now becoming rare. It's no longer common to just get to a sawmill and you see Milicia excelsa. It's not common. Whereas in the past, those used to be the prime species that people ask for or go after. But now you don't have that. The size of logs coming from the forest has also reduced considerably. In time past, what is common in many forest reserves are what we call one per load. There are logs that is called one per load. What that means is that the log is so big that it is just one that your timber lorry will carry. Your timber lorry cannot carry more than one because of the size, how big it is. But you no longer find that. I mean, those kind of sizes again. Now, the concept of sustainable forest management is completely lost in all the states. In all the states now, if you go to their forestry department, what they're after is revenue generation from the forest, how they will assign, concession areas to people to go and fell trees and bring revenue to government. In fact, there are places where states where government give them revenue target and say, forestry department, this year, you must bring in so million. And so there is nothing called sustainable forest management. In fact, as at now also, there is no regulatory body for forestry practice in Nigeria. There is none. Bodies like you have Koren, if an engineer mess up in the practice of his profession, Koren can withdraw his license, they can discipline him in one way or the other. Same thing, legal profession and so on. But in forestry profession, you don't have such at all. No regulatory body. So it's possible for a forest officer to be reckless in the forest and collude with illegal fellas and commit a lot of atrocities without consequences, because no regulatory body as at now. Unless something is done now to reverse this trend, coming generations of foresters, and that refers to many of you on this platform today, will have no real forest to manage. And that is the truth. So what can you do as young foresters? I have just 4 points here as my suggestion. First, you must decide to make a change. You must resolve in your mind to depart from the status quo. No matter where you are, make up your mind that, look, it will not be business as usual. Because you are there, your level of exposure and training, you must resolve that there must be a change. That's the first thing you must do. Secondly, equip yourself with relevant digital and technological skills so that you can bring appropriate technology into forestry practice in Nigeria. If you go into our forestry service across the states, and by privilege of my consultancy here and there, I relate with virtually all forestry departments in the various states in the country, as well as at the federal level. And I'm aware of where they are in terms of skills and so on. And it's unfortunate that many people lack the skills that is required for them to, do anything meaningful in forestry. And so you as young people, you must equip yourself with those relevant skills so that you can make a difference. I remember when my Uyi Asemota, one of our former students in FUTA, he did his NYSC in Abuja, and he worked with them in the Ministry of Environment. And he got there, he decided that he was going to put what he has learned into practice. And so the GIS that he learned as an undergraduate, he decided to put it into practice and prepare map, because there is no activity going on there at the federal level. So a lot of idle time for corpers there. So he decided that he will invest his time to do something meaningful, and he has his laptop. And he was producing maps, and his bosses were so excited about that. Wow, such a very enterprising young man. And in fact, he did a map for forest reserves in the country, and the then minister said, look, you mean a staff in forestry did this? I want that map in my office, and so on and so forth. And even long after he finished serving, they were still calling him to come and help them do one thing or the other as a consultant. So you must equip yourself with relevant skills. Many of you went through school just to pass and graduate, and that's the truth for many of you. Once the teacher says, well, sorry, I can't make it to class today, you all say, well, thank God. All you just want is to pass. And when the exam is coming, you begin to ask the teacher, please, AOC, that is area of concentration. You are not after knowledge. You just want to pass and have the certificate. Now that many of you have graduated and you have the certificate, now is the time for you to now start real learning to gain knowledge. Because those certificates is not what people are looking for. People are looking for what you know and what you can do. And so if you say you have a bachelor's degree in forestry or master's degree or whatever, people are not interested in that because so many people have the same thing you say you carry. What will distinguish you is the skill you have that others don't have. And that reminds me of the story of how I got the consultancy on forest resources study that was done in Nigeria between 1996 and 1999. It was a project given to a Canadian firm by ADB, African Development Bank, to do forest resources study for the whole country. And so the Canadian firm came into the country. They wanted to hire local consultants within the country that will work with them on the project. And so many people submitted their resume and CV to the company. And eventually, of course, the company was based in Ibadan. I was in Akure. So I was contacted that people are submitting CV, this and this and that I could also submit. So I also prepared my resume and CV. I submitted. Now, on their own, those Oyinbos, they went through all the submissions and so on, and they invited me for interview. So I went to Ibadan to do the interview. And of course, I was given the assignment. I was given the job. Now, it was when they gave me the job, they now told me why they gave me the job and what I should do. They said they wanted somebody with PhD in forestry. All the CVs with them, people have PhD in forestry. In fact, even my seniors, my teachers, my lecturers in the university, they also submitted CV. Now that they needed somebody who can drive, because there are project vehicles and they are not hiring driver. You have to be able to drive by yourself. Of course, very many people submitted also had that. So there was nothing strange, nothing special about that. And then finally, they said they want the person to have good knowledge of computer and be able to work independently on the system. And as at that time in 1995, when they did that selection, of all those that submitted CVs, so many, 2 big files, I was the only one that had that skill. And I was the youngest of all. That's the truth of the matter. But they said, it's me that should get the job. So they gave me 2 binders, big files containing CVs of people who have submitted, and said I should go through this CV and select those I think I can work with. That was when I saw CVs of people who submitted, and I saw my ogas and all those other people who have taught me in the university. So what I'm saying is that it was my skill then, not my certificate. It was my skill that made that way for me. So as a person, decide that you will acquire knowledge. Now that you have your certificate, fine, good for you. But now you must develop skills. Don't be stagnant, even if others are, because you are not going the same direction. So the fact that your friend is stagnant doesn't mean you should be stagnant. Keep learning. No knowledge acquired is a waste. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you so much, Prof. Thank you. We are so grateful. Thank you for that awesome presentation and insightful session. We are so grateful. Right now, we'll be moving on to the questions we have on ground and also reactions from the audience. Very quickly, because of our time, we'll be starting. Okay, I think we should start with the questions that we have on ground. The first question is from Abdurrashid Inuwa. Abdurrashid Inuwa. Sorry if I didn't get that pronunciation. And the question is, Prof, sir, how expensive or costly can these digital tools be in Nigerian Naira? I think the person is trying to know how expensive some of these digital tools are in Naira.
Okay, I will talk. Let's say drones, for example. You know, funny enough, drones can be very cheap and they can be very expensive, depending on what you are actually using it for. In Nigeria, as we speak, there are drones that go for as low as 40,000 Naira, for example. You can get a drone, yes, for that amount in Nigeria. And you can get those that are as expensive as several hundreds of thousands of Naira, depending on the capability and what you want to really use it for. So drones are, that's the range of price really for drones. Now for other tools such as the Criterion, the Ipsometer, and the rest of them, they are not readily available in Nigeria. In fact, they are not available in Nigeria. That's the truth of the matter. So you have to get them, you have to order for them from abroad. That's what it is. But the prices also, especially for, well, Criterion is a little expensive, about $1,000+, but cheaper than Relascope, far cheaper. And the Ipsometer is far cheaper than that. So these are instruments that, you know, organizations could order for online, and it will be supplied to you. But I don't have the price for all the other ones, but the prices are available online. You can just Google search them and you'll get the prices online. They are available there. Olaolu, you are muted. I can't hear you.
Okay, thank you so much. Before we take reaction.
You are still muted.
Okay. Yeah, thank you so much. Before we take some other reactions, there's a question from Dr. Fola Babalola, and he's asking two questions here, and he's saying, okay, he's appreciating Prof. He's saying, thank you, Prof, for the presentation. And the first question he's asking here is this: what is the state of our national forest policy? And the second question is, what is the Forestry Association doing on getting the regulatory body in place for foresters in Nigeria? So those are the two questions from Dr. Babalola.
Very good. Thank you, Doc. Now, first, state of national forest policy in Nigeria. We have a national forest policy. Even as we speak, at the national level, yes, we have one of 2006. That's the one we are still, which was approved and signed into law. We have that as we speak now. That is the policy that is still guiding us in forestry at the federal level. But then states, individual states also have their own policies and laws. And many of them derive, you know, sections, they use sections of the federal to derive theirs. Now, something that is very interesting about this is that, you know, federal doesn't have any land that they can call their own. Land ownership is vested in the states. So it is the state governments that own and manage the forest reserves. So when national makes policy, it is just regulatory. The real owners of the forest are the states. And so it is the policies and laws at the state level that actually determine what happens in our forests, not even the federal one. So, but quite a number of states have used the federal policy to develop their own. At least I'm aware of Ekiti State, for example. They incorporated that in their own, which was approved a year or two ago under the current administration. So there are states working on that. Now, as regards the regulatory body, you say what is FAN doing or what has FAN done and so on and so forth. As at now, we, personally speaking, we have, well, in FAN, we will say we are trying, but the truth of the matter is that we have not really pushed as we should. For more than, I would say, more than 15 years now, the decision to have a professional body to regulate forestry practice has been decided or taken by FAN. And a bill was prepared and forwarded to National Assembly. And we have had about 4 different assemblies now. And yet the bill has not passed through third reading to be to be able to become law. And it is because of the Nigerian situation. In Nigeria, you must settle, I remember the first time we put the bill together about 15 years ago. I was privileged to be the chairman of the committee that puts that policy together on NICF, we call it Nigeria Institute of Chartered Foresters. That's a regulatory body. And we prepared and everything was done and sent. And we were told in National Assembly as at then that fans should bring 10 million naira for a start, at least to start pushing. And of course, we levied ourselves here and there, states contributed, all those things happened. Everything just went, nothing happened. As we speak now, the latest on it is that it has passed the second reading, but when your bill passes second reading in the National Assembly that we have in Nigeria, you must again oil the wheel before it will move further. So, or else it will get stagnated. And once one assembly passes, a new assembly comes, you have to start from square one. It's not that you start from third reading. No, you have to go back again to first reading and start moving again. And I've quarreled with a lot of my colleagues who are in the ESCOs or found that they are not making use of what we have. FRAME, for example, Forestry Research Institute have a new law that allows them to go professorial in their cadre system. And the whole thing did not take 1 year. In fact, it's just a couple of months. And the thing passed through first reading, second reading, third reading, got to president, it was endorsed and it became law, all in less than 1 year. So I said, if FRAME can get it done, and the DJ of FRAME is a member of FAN, then why not start doing with that responsibility to also get this one done too? But we are where we are. That's my comment on that, Doc.
Okay, thank you so much, sir, for that. I think we have Bolu Tito Adedoyin. I think we have a reaction from her before we move on to the next question on the chat box. Can we have you, Ma, for your reaction? Very quickly, please.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much, Prof. Sir, for this eye-opening and thought-provoking presentation. I know many of us will be wondering, oh, what is Prof talking about? Is he in another world? Well, that is true because when I look at the forestry section in Nigeria, we are kind of, I don't know, very, very well at the back area. But I'm hoping that with this education that we are doing consistently, many of us will be getting to learn some of these things. Now, I just want to ask 2 questions, sir. Firstly, I want to know what young people can do to, young professionals in forestry can do to actually, I don't know, eliminate or control or bring down bad governance and allow or enable, or what we can do to make the government become interested in forestry, not for revenue now, not for the money. I don't know. I know we can't go into their minds to change them, but what is it that young foresters can do to actually encourage for the government to come into forestry and say, okay, this, like the national policy we just talked about, these are the things, this thing has to be in place. Forestry is more than revenue. Forestry is more than the trees itself. It is actually our lives. It depends, it affects our existence. What can we do as foresters? Some of us have gone to school, but what exactly can we do right now that we are out of school to bring the knowledge of the government to some of these issues that are happening in forestry and how they can actually come in and help? And the second question is, I remember very clearly, sir, when I was defending, was it my undergraduate thesis now? Yeah, and I was working on evaluation of restrictions and conflicts in forest reserves. And then you asked me, sir, that can there be any more forest reserves in Nigeria? And I remember clearly that I said, yes, sir. And you said, well, that answer is not correct. There can be forest reserves, more forest reserves on paper and not in the real sense. And actually that question has been deep in my mind and I've been thinking about it. I'm like, okay, we can have more forest reserves. And the ones we have are daily being depleted. They are daily being becoming of no quality trees, like you mentioned in your presentation, sir. Now, my question is now, how can the government come in to help in the area of forest reserves, the forest reserves that we have now? Why is it that we cannot actually have more forest reserves? Okay, I know the land is limited and all that, but the ones we have, why is it that we keep depleting it? What can we do to actually make it, the ones we have, can we even make it good quality and then move on with, like you said, that some of our forestry students might come in later and not have a real forest to work with. And then they will just maybe look at pictures and say, this was former, this used to be a queen, this used to be queen's plot. And it's so disheartening. So I don't really know, what can we do as young professionals in this situation, sir? Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for that question. As you were talking, I remembered I had a consultancy project in Kwarikwasa Forest Reserve in Kebbi State at the time, years back. And I went with some of my colleagues. I took Prof. Onyekwelu along with me to do that work and a few other people. And we got to the forest reserve. We were led there by the state forestry officials. And we moved round and round and round and round and round the place. And all that were available there, we saw a large expanse of Guinea corn farm and then shrubs.
I could remember, I'm part of this.
No trees. Now, Prof. Onyekwelu asked me and said, Oga, is this a forest reserve? I said, yes, this is Kwarikwasa Forest Reserve. He said, but the forestry you taught me, I don't believe this is a forest reserve. I said, well, thank God you said the forestry I taught you. I now had to reteach him there what a forest reserve is. I said, a forest, because all along he has been in the South, his experience of forest reserve is Olua Forest Reserve or Forest Reserve, where there are trees and so on. I said, no. I said, the correct definition of a forest reserve is a land area that is reserved for forestry activity. Whether it has tree or not is not a definition of forest reserve. Forest reserve is a land area reserved for forestry practice. He said, well, he has learned something new. I said, so learn it properly. So now, the way our forests are in Nigeria, if anybody gets into forestry, and I'm talking of forestry practice in the state, maybe you are hired in the state. A friend of mine who got into forestry service back in 1989 in Ondo State, his first weekend in service, the uniform staff brought 50,000 naira to him. And he said, what was this for? They said, God, this is just for your weekend, sir. It's your own share for the weekend. Where is that money coming from? They had done illegal felling, they had, impounded vehicle or whatever, and just to share money for weekend. And they gave their Oga 50,000, only God knows what they took. And the Oga collected it from them. And so the problem is also us, not just government. Even the staff there, we forestry staff there, we are part of the problem. And that's why I was talking of the regulatory body. If there is no regulatory body, people will be doing a lot of things with impunity. But if there is a regulatory body, a whistleblower can raise that up and regulatory body will investigate and they will sanction the individuals. And that will help to curb the problem as far as forestry sector is concerned. But with the government, how do we make government to see what we are seeing? It is by engaging them, by constant engagement. And we've been doing that at our little level in different states. When we have issues, we have had courses where we had to go even to state governors, as Forestry Association of Nigeria, and engage them in discussions about policies they are doing that is not healthy for the forest and so on and so forth. And we have had some successes in the past. I know we have intervened in Ondo State before, we have intervened in Oyo State before, and different other states. There are states we hear that, oh, governor wants to de-reserve the forest, and we quickly send people there to go and engage the government and so on and so forth. Of course, I understand the pressure on forests. Our population is growing more and more, and the land area is fixed. And so there will be need for more houses, so urbanization will increase. So many things will happen, and there will be demand for more land. Even agricultural practice, they will demand for more land to grow more food and so on. And what that means is, as professionals, we should be able to think outside the box as to how do we practice forestry in such an area and still be able to meet the needs of the people. So that means if we are saying, okay, we want to raise plantations now, gone are the days of just raising plantations for wood production. We must raise plantations that will also provide benefits for the locals in terms of maybe incorporate fruit trees, incorporate other things, or wood lots and things that will be of immediate benefit to them, because the land is just not there. The land is limited and there is so much pressure on it. So it's something we need to keep engaging them. But we ourselves as foresters, as professionals, we must first of all take initiative as to doing things correctly. And then we can now talk to other people and engage them. So those are my few reactions to that. But not all hope is lost. As young people, you can make up your mind to make a difference, so that wherever you are, you insist on making a difference. Part of making a difference is, some of those consultancy work I do, when they give me job to do inventory, the state will tell me, oh, I remember when we were doing FRA, they say, oh, we have so hectare of forest. I said, okay, fine, let's go there. I want to go and see. And they say, oh, God, you mean you will go there? Ah, yes, that's why I'm here. I'm to check. I'm going there. Then they will come with excuse. The road there is not good. I came with 4-wheel drive. We will get there. And then when they see that I'm serious, they have no choice. We'll go there. Now, when we go there, what some other people will do is that they'll just stay in the vehicle, just see things along the road and then go back. I will come down, I will enter. And once I enter as the person leading the team, everybody will follow me. And then there are areas where I get to, moving far inside. After the few trees they have planted along the roadside, behind it, you just enter a cassava plantation. And you will say, so this is what is happening here. Of course, you take record of that. So as young people, when you have opportunity to do any work in forestry, do it thoroughly. Don't do it as usual. That's what I mean. It's not more business as usual. Do it properly, professionally, no matter what it takes. Just do it well so that you contribute your own quota to the development of forestry.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir, for that amazing reaction. Okay, before we take some other reactions, we have some pending questions here. Sorry, we won't be able to take more questions. We already have some. Yeah. Okay, I'll be combining some of the questions because of our time. Okay, the question is coming from Ezini Ezewo. Sorry if I'm not getting that pronunciation correctly. And also a question from Alex Onatunji. I would like to combine the two questions. Okay, some of us were not opportune to get these digital and technological skills even as graduates. Sir, please, how do you advise young graduates in this category? How best do we acquire these skills? And also a question from Alex saying, Prof, sir, what way can these trainings on ICT in forestry be embedded in curriculums?
Okay, good. For the first question, for those who attended schools where they didn't have exposure to these technologies, and yeah, there is no problem. I have told you my own experience that in my own time of training in forestry, there was no computer at all. Talk less of somebody exposing you to a computer. So the fact that you have not had that background is not a problem. It's not a disadvantage. So don't see yourself as unable to. I mean, if I can learn, then you can learn. So have a positive attitude like that, regardless of what your background had been. So that's the first thing. Because if you already see yourself as down, being down, and you can't, then no, nothing will happen. So have a I can do it spirit. That's the first place to start with. Secondly, webinars like this helps to bring some exposures, and things should not end just here. There should be follow-up. So you as an individual that wants to learn, you can do follow-up. And then, of course, as I always tell my students back in FUTA, there are abundance of resources available online now on YouTube that you can use to learn and train yourself. There are a lot available. And so you must be ready to take advantage of that. Like I say, I'm still a student. The courses I'm doing, I'm not doing it with a teacher. It's an online course. So just watching videos and, doing exercises, assignments, and so on and so forth. So you can learn. There is no stage you are that you cannot learn. So those things you did not learn in school, you can learn them even now that you are outside school. So that's the first thing you must take note of. Now, the second thing, how can we incorporate all these ICT and things like that into our curriculum in our various schools? Well, I'm happy that we have some of our lecturers here on the platform today, and they are listening. I know that in Akure, for example, we have tried to introduce quite a number of these things into our curriculum. And in fact, recently, back in Akure, we were talking of reviewing our master's curriculum, postgraduate curriculum. And I said, oh yeah, this is long overdue, and we must do it. And the kind of things I'm thinking about introducing to that master's curriculum, of course, usually my colleagues will ask me, who will teach this? Who will teach this? And I always tell them, look, don't worry about who will teach it. We'll put it in. If there's nobody to teach it, I will teach it. So, because you realize that at master's level, for example, now in forestry, people must know R at their fingertips as a software for analysis at their fingertips. And I personally, I'm not even intending to stop there. I intend to also introduce Python to them, because when you learn R and Python, then you're on your path to data science, which is where the globe is going. And so one thing that is important for those of us who are lecturers on this platform is, let's think ahead. Let's not just think of the now. The time I introduced GIS into the curriculum in FUTA, there was no university in Nigeria, forestry university, that is doing it at all. And they said, who will teach it? Of course, I am not a GIS expert, but I said, if there's nobody to teach it, I will teach it. And so I started learning myself. And I told my students, look, students, we are in this together, we are learning it together. But we'll get somewhere. And now I have confidence. I remember at that time, for some of my students, I would send them to Ibadan. I said, go to the geography department. I have a friend there who is in GIS. Go and spend some time with him. So please, those of us who are lecturers on the platform, we must think ahead and incorporate some of these things into our curriculum. I'm happy that Dr. Babalola, who is also an Aushe prof, is a former HOD in Ilorin there. He has very great influence there. Dr. Shamaki is also currently the acting head of the department. So these things can be incorporated, into our curriculum. It may not be too many at a time, maybe just 1 or 2 courses at a time. At least let's start from somewhere. And then the other thing is that on my part as a person, there was something I started doing, and I'm happy that it yielded some results. I realized that, sorry that I'm taking a little time on this, when students come to FUTA for masters and they say they want to do biometrics, I ask for their background, and I'm shocked. There was one that came from a university, he has never seen a relascope, talk less of being able to measure trees, and he wants to specialize in biometrics. So I asked, who was your teacher? Who taught you this course? He mentioned the name of a person that I don't know. And I know if I don't know the person, then the person is not in biometrics. Because if he mentions the name and I don't know the person, and you say the person is in inventory, is in biometrics in Nigeria, then that person doesn't specialize in that. So, but then I accepted him and I said, well, fine, this is your desire. I will assist you to do this, but then you have to be ready to work hard. And he was ready to work hard, and we started. So what is important there is, I then said, well, I think the problem is not even with the students. The problem is more of teachers. So I sent an email to all the universities doing forestry, and I invited all the people teaching inventory and all those and biometrics to a workshop in Akure. I invited them to a 2-3 day workshop in Akure, and they came. And it was a high opener because I said, okay, you say you are a biometrician, you are inventory, you are fine. Let's see what does it make to be a biometrician. And we looked at, I just brought out some adverts from US, from Canada, advertising for position of biometrics. I said, so you are a biometrician, can you apply for this job? And when they looked at the requirements, they said, wow. So it was a high opener. So I said, okay, fine. Now that we have known this, it means we have to teach ourselves. So we started a program of, teaching ourselves. And that is still ongoing. We do that regularly to update ourselves. All teachers teaching forest inventory, biometrics, and so on in the various universities. So that is one way of helping, to advance this course. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, sir. All right, very quickly now, Dr. Shamaki, can we quickly have you? Please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you very much. This is really, really, really wonderful. Nice having you, Prof, on the platform as always. We keep learning every day. A time and space will not permit us to say everything that we needed to say. Prof have said a lot, even though he has left so many things unsaid. I believe in other platforms and in the nearest future, he will say much of that. Just for emphasis, as young foresters, as you are, Prof said something I want to really, really emphasize on that. Being in academic environment, whether as a lecturer or as a student, does not stop you from learning on your own. In fact, that is what will make you a great and successful academician. You can't just sit down and say you only rely on what the teacher will come into the class and inform you. By that, you can't learn anything. I wish Prof had enough time to tell you his experience when he got the opportunity as a visiting fellow at the University of British Columbia in Canada, when he was invited for a project. And the first thing is they tested him, say, okay, can you use this software? And the softwares they introduced him to, or softwares that he has never even seen, touched, or used while he was in Nigeria. But with determination, he was able to actually, and that experience is really, really a good one. And that was what benefited most of us. Through that, I was even able to be at UBC, and I was welcomed very, very much. As the department, just what Prof said, we have institutions that have some of the facilities, but they don't have expertise to utilize some of these instruments. That is one big challenge. As Prof rightly said, all the experts in Nigeria that are into biometrics and inventory and digital forestry as a whole, definitely we know them. I have opportunity of visiting so many institutions that offer forestry as a program. And I can tell you, I can mention authoritatively all the institutions, universities in the northern Nigeria that I know their capacities. Some of them, they offer forestry degree as a program as a degree, but they don't have a single inventory instrument. I know some universities, and they offer degrees. Now, a student can be interested in learning inventory and biometrics, but there are no resources. Can you say you just want to limit your knowledge by what you have learned? No. You can learn online. Thank God this generation is a generation that is blessed with a lot of abundant online resources, digital resources, and all of that. So you can learn online, and you can look for institutions that offers this program, and they have the expertise and they have the facilities to actually take you through what you really want to learn. Don't just limit yourself to say, oh, this is what we have, and I have to stick to what we really have. Another interesting aspect, lastly, that I want to talk about is this issue of insecurities and the current challenges of conducting inventory work. That is one of the reasons why you need to learn more about technology and its application to forest resource management. Now, like currently, let me give you one instance. I have a candidate, a PhD candidate, very resourceful, very serious, and very ready to work, but we have some challenges. Now, all the areas and forest reserves that are identified that we want to work in have security issues. Now, she's a woman, a married woman, and a northerner, and who is ready to work in inventory. But these are the challenges. So how do you solve these issues? So one of those challenges, one of the solutions to the challenges is actually to learn how to apply technology and take data collection. But again, we'll be faced with issues of funding. Who funds the research? How do you get the equipment? How do you get the digital data? How do you get everything in place? That is another thing that I want the organizers of this meeting to look into. The next maybe phase of the discussion should be on funding projects in forestry. How do you even access grants? How do you get organizations, individuals, and institutions to actually fund research? Funding research, including the supply of all these equipment, and also organize time to time how to learn about all these things. I believe I want to make a holiday, and this is a very nice initiative, and I'm happy, I'm proud to be part of this. And I also want to thank Professor Akindele that for introducing digital forestry in many institutions. Happy to say that he was the pioneer person that introduced this digital through GIS and other inventory technology to Smart Norfolk University Sokoto. And ever since then, I always mention your name to students, those that know you and those that didn't have the opportunity of meeting you. And very soon you hear a big story, a success story, because very soon we are going to have a very large, sophisticated GIS laboratory in our institution.
Wow, that's great.
Thank you very much.
That's great.
Thank you, Dr. Shamaki. Thank you for that. Meshach, over to you.
Okay, so about the issue of learning. Okay, I remember while we were graduating, while we were leaving school, Prof taught us a lot of things that were not in the curriculum. He organized special classes for us to drill us for life after school also. Okay, to the point that Prof taught us CV writing. Like it was it was that deep. Prof taught us CV writing, how to respond to interviews and every of those things. Now, I believe the way at undergraduate studies level, or what school could do, is instead of going through the route of making things official, okay, probably departments could section the students, like maybe 300 forestry students. This is a core skill that they need to learn, probably at the basics. Even though they don't have a lecturer that could teach the course, they can invite a guest, even via this virtual medium, organize their students, and they can schedule, like maybe in a semester, they can schedule probably 2 days of the week for those virtual classes for like 3 weeks. That's like 6 contacts. And we have people who are good at these things, who are alumni of forestry abroad. For example, we have Tomiyoshi Shedrack, who is an expert currently doing masters in forestry with a focus in forest biometrics. We have Sam in the US in the area of wood. There are several software applications in wood science also, and all these things. So if they can do it as an unofficial means, organize this thing. For someone like me, my specialization in application of digital tools, I do my master's at Nigeria Defense Academy, and now I will be going to Air Force Institute of Technology soon to go and train their students on some basics of digital productivity tools. It does not have to be very official, but these things could be organized without any paperwork, without anything. And if they contact us, the host, myself, Ola Olua, we can provide the resources needed in this area as our contribution to the forestry profession in Nigeria. And I believe that should be able to work.
Okay, thank you for that, Meshach. Very quickly, Dr. Babalola, can we have you, sir?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for giving me the platform. And I want to once again appreciate Prof for giving us the time to teach us about digital application of digital tools to forestry. And one contribution I want to just quickly make because of our time is what Prof said about making our impact. Most of these things that a number of us that you are looking at that we are now senior colleagues in forestry know, most of what we know is what we learn on our own. Once again, I just want to add that don't just make it as an excuse that you were not really taught in school to be able to get to your goal in life. Teach yourself, learn most of it yourself. We are just giving you the foundation that you can build on. I want to encourage you all to learn more. Now, a question was asked about how to get grants, how to get equipment. Now, online, if you're able to prove yourself very well and you're able to write group proposal, the number of grants online, I've been talking to my students, I've been telling them, you can apply for grants online to cover your research, but it must be a good proposal. Now, there are some organizations abroad that are giving refurbished equipment. I was able to get about 4 binoculars from Idea Wide, based, I think, in UK. There are some of these, they have refurbished equipment that some of their researchers are no more using because they have bought new one. And they are shipping this thing to Africa. So you can write proposals to some of these organizations, some of these individuals. They are ready to ship it to you. But though some of them may want to ask you to maybe cover the cost of shipment and all that, it's something that we can give a try. And now, finally, at our individual level, we can make impact in this forestry thing. We can make forestry a worthwhile profession, something that people will desire to do by contributing your own quota. Like what I'm currently doing at the learning now, I know I cannot influence policy, I cannot make forest policy. I cannot influence national forest policy on that, but I can plant trees. I can tell students about trees. So I'm going around secondary school, telling them about forestry, telling them about trees, telling them about conservation, and I'm planting trees for them. And I'm teaching the students they should plant trees. With this, we can replace most of these our lost trees in our environment, in our schools, wherever we find ourselves. So dare to make impact, and I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Babalola, for that. Okay, sorry we won't be able to, because of our time is fast spent. We won't be able to take more questions now. Very quickly, I want to call on Alex. Alex, you have 1 minute for your presentation. 1 minute, please. 1 minute.
Okay. Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, please go ahead. Please go
Okay.
ahead.
Prof, I just want to quickly read this to you. Prof is best known to me as the forestry student professor in Nigeria, based on his selfless sacrifice and service to see students and young people live a balanced life and have a fulfilling career. I'll briefly explain my encounters with him. I can still remember how he supported my presentation on February 23rd, 2017 at FRIEND, where I made the presentation on behalf of the youth at the annual meeting of the Forestry Association of Nigeria. Following them, we had a lecture with Prof. in Akure, and that was led by Dr. Sadiku Wete to Futa, where he taught us about GIS and remote sensing. And there too, he granted us space to attend the NAM 2017 in Ghana. I will not forget in an hurry how Prof traveled with us 3 days on the road when he could actually pay for a flight and just go without going through the stress with us, but Prof did. And that was the first time I left Nigeria, my first time of attending an IFSA event and presenting a conference paper. And that was the beginning of my service to IFSA and also to the hosting of NAM meeting in Unilorin. So today, Prof, I'm honored to be the IFSA coordinator of the Joint IFSA Task Force on Forest Education. And I'm also glad when you honored our invitation as a keynote speaker of NAM 2018 at University of Ilorin. And you even provided personal financial support to the same conference, even as an invited speaker. Beyond your university, your impact on students on national and international scale has been resounding. This is Boss when we're on our way to Ghana in 2017. And here is you somewhere with your cap. So in NAM 17 in Ghana. And you have possibly spoke to the largest crowd in an IFSA event. About 500 students were attending this opening ceremony. You were the one speaking on the platform, and the person where my mouth is offering was the regional rep at that time, Kayode Lupitan, while I was the head of the organizing committee. So you took a picture with us. This is Professor Babalola, Assistant Professor Babalola now, and some other ISA officials and some other students. And this is the award given to you by the Ghanaians for NAM 17. And lastly, now we are working on the Young African Forestry Professionals publication project, where we have done some interview with some foresters around the continent, and we're currently collating this into a book, which should be published soon. So I want to say thank you for taking us to Ghana and for the beginning of my service to you, sir. And thank you on behalf of other students who are unable to do this. Thank you so much, Prof.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you so much, Alex. Because of our time, I would like to welcome Meshach for a quick appreciation and.
Okay. Thank you very much, sir, for this. Like I just posted on Facebook now. I was like, this is more than just a learning platform today. It's a forum because it's like we are learning from different people, like at the same time, and we appreciate everyone here present. And what we are pleading for is that we need more of our fathers on this platform when organizing this event. Because one of the things is you can help us to take dressing, you can help us to know our limits, and you can help us know what is possible for us, how far we could go. Like the knowledge being shared by Dr. Fola Babalola, of course, is Associate Professor Fola Babalola is always here with us at all time. Even when he's not going to be around, he will tell us, hey, I have to do this, I won't be on the platform. And we're impressed by it. We're impressed by it. Seeing Dr. Shamaki today and every other doctors on this platform today, it's a great encouragement. It's a great encouragement. And we want more of that. We appreciate everyone. Thank you, Prof. We made you, to talk to us early morning. It's morning over there while we are here at this time. So we appreciate you, sir. Thank you very much, sir. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Meshach. Before I call on Prof again, I would like to appreciate IFSA for providing this platform. This is the 9th edition, if I'm right. Yeah, this is the 9th edition. That is the 9th month we are hosting this event. And we want to appreciate you all once again for believing in this vision and for always supporting us. The vision is broad, and we hope to cover the whole of Nigeria and Africa by extension, and of course to some other countries. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. We want to appreciate our team members. Okay, yeah, thank you so much, IFSA. Thank you for giving us the platform every time we beckon on you. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you. We are grateful. And also to our team members, the team members working behind the scene. Jumoke Oguntimeyi, thank you so much. Adigun Azan, thank you. Ayanleye Samuel, thank you so much for your support. And of course, my brother, Meshach, thank you. Thank you so much. And a wonderful appreciation to Alex too. Alex is a wonderful guy, and thank you for always giving us your support. And to everyone joining us for this event, we say thank you, and we are so grateful. And for our upcoming events, we hope that when we call on you, you'll be available to join us on this platform. And before we draw the curtains on today's event, I would like to call on Professor Akindele for his maybe closing remarks or something.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much. Let me appreciate the organizers of this event for inviting me to speak. I'm happy it's been a roundtable discussion with participants, intervening here and there, and we keep learning from one another, and that's really the beauty of it all. I want to encourage us. For every one of us, we have a role to play. You can also contribute to the overall development of forestry and forestry education in Nigeria by preparing small YouTube videos of what you know can benefit coming generations. It's something that we can all benefit from and learn from. I have a YouTube channel where I posted some videos on completely randomized design, randomized complete block design. You see how to go through the analysis and so on and so forth. When I visited Nigeria briefly this last January, I got some inventory equipment. I went to the forests at the back of my house to do some recordings, which I also intend, putting out as YouTube videos on how to measure diameter of trees, how to use the various instruments, Aga altimeter, reloscope, and so on. So please, let's be creative to support one another. Whatever you can do, make it available. And the fact that you are making it available to people doesn't reduce anything from you, doesn't take away what you already have. So let's share information, let's share resources. If there is a link that can benefit people, make it available. Let people know, so that way, iron sharpens iron. We keep learning from each other, from one another. And at the end of it all, we'll all be proud and happy about our forestry profession. So it's just a request I'm making to every one of us, so that even I too can learn, and I'm really willing, much more than willing to learn. So please, it's an appeal to us. And if there is a challenge in making YouTube videos and so on and so forth, there are tools we can use. If you contact me, I can always assist in that regard and refer you to things that you can do to get it up and running. So please, we need to do that. Let's make more of that available so that upcoming students can learn from them. Even if they don't have those things in their schools, at least they can see, they can watch videos here and there. And in these days of e-learning, we can learn from anywhere. You know, in those days, students come from UI to Akure to meet me, to spend a week with me for training in GIS. People come from Ilorin also for the same thing. But now people don't even need to travel. Right where you are in your institution, you can get this knowledge. You can learn. Just reach out and say, oh, please, can you have some time with us, and make yourself available? It will be done. So we are blessed with a lot of potentials, lots of resources, and let's please tap into the things we have. For example, Kunle Ogunyemi has been doing a lot on R, and he has a platform where he has been doing so much. And these are the kind of things we should be doing to be able to contribute more and more to the profession. So it's an appeal I'm making to every one of us. Whatever thing you know or you see, just let's make it available there. Let's help one another to grow. That way, we'll all reach our desired goal. So once again, I thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very happy to be part of this. And I say thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you so much, Prof. Please, can we all unmute ourselves and say thank you to Professor
You can open your video.
Thank you very much, sir.
You can open
Thank
your
you so
video.
much, sir.
Please put on your
Thank you
videos.
very much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Prof. Let's open our video. Selfie.
Yeah,
Thank you all.